The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everybody, JayReims with the Periodic Review, and my lovely wife.
Riem.
There she is. She's here. We are back, and we're live. Well, not live, but we're at least recording, and we're back in action. So, hope you all are having a wonderful day. How are you doing, my love?
I'm okay. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, you've been having some back stuff happening, huh?
The stupid lower back, man. I swear, like, the stress of these, like, freaking gas prices and crap stressing me out.
Yeah, that's no good.
So, you know, my body's just like, well, you're going to stress. Let me show you where you're going to feel it. And then it's all up on my lower back.
So this is, I believe this is episode 41.
What? Shut up.
I know it's been a long time, so we've been down and out for a minute. Yeah, so this is episode 41. That's exciting. So yeah, how about them gas prices? What's going on with that?
Oh my gosh, that's
Let's just jump right in, baby. Let's just do it.
What's going on with that? Such a nerd. I love you.
I got a nice picture today, though. Did you? I don't know if you saw the post. I put it up on Twitter.
No.
Let's see if I can. Oh, wait.
I got my new glasses today. That's what I know.
Oh, you did? Yeah, show them off real quick.
This is my pair I wear. So I got my frame.
My pair I wear.
My pair I wear, and I put it on. I feel like so sassy pants. You know? I got my sassy pants frame, which is like my Lucky Charms. It's the 4-leaf clovers and the Lucky Charm rainbow. This is my little St. Patty's Day frames. But if I want to be chill and more profesh, I just take it to the basic black frame. But then I just throw these puppies on. Booyah.
And those don't like get in the way, or like they don't get knocked off easy or anything, do they?
Nah.
Not really?
I'm like sitting here trying to knock them off. No, that seems pretty cool.
That's so cool. That's so cool, baby.
Ow!
So I wanted to show everybody this really cool picture. For those of you who are not able to see the video, oh, of course, I got the wrong display on capture. Of course I do. Of course, because we're professionals. I just switched to a different let's display. I need display 2. There it is. Done. So I changed devices. I'm not using OBS. Well, I guess it's a plugin now with Streamlabs. So I'm using that. So it's a little bit different. So this is the cool picture I have right here. Oops. Can you see it?
What is it?
Can you see it?
No, what is it?
So it's
Wait, move your head. I can't
Which
see
way?
it.
Can you see it over here?
No.
No?
I need to see that screen.
Do you see it?
Is it free masks
Uh-huh.
and hand sanitizer that nobody takes because they're sick of it?
So this
They're
is
sick of it!
So this was a display over at our local Walgreens in our small town southern Utah, and it says free government provided masks. So I thought I would share that with all of you guys, and the caption was, "Well, thank you, Brandon. Only 2 years. ... Too late."
Yeah, well, you know, it's getting election time. That's why they were like, all of a sudden, oh look, you can go back to real life. And then as soon as the elections are over, and they get their way, if they get their way, we can't let them get their way. But because if we give up our freedoms, we're never going to get them back.
Well, this is probably true.
No, it is true, sir.
Well,
sorry,
I don't think that the Constitution will allow it, and I don't think the people will stand for it. I think there will be a very big uprising of people, seceding from our government, leaving the states to other states that are more open with their with their rights. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see if it continues down the road that we're seeing. So so there was a quote I wanted to share. This was actually from the New York Times. Apparently, the president announced the ban in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and warned that the action could result in higher prices for Americans at the gas pumps.
Yeah, because they weren't going up at all before this whole thing, were they? Not one little bit. Gosh, they think we are so damn stupid.
I think that's true. I think they assume that the masses are just going to be sheep and just follow and trust the government and trust the media and trust everybody who's just saying whatever, in hopes that they don't get any backlash. But I don't know if you're noticing a lot of this other stuff, but a lot of these democratic, progressive, left-leaning, like very radical like ideas that have been instituted in a lot of these different states are actually being retracted. Like the whole defunding the police and everything, they're actually refunding the police. And
don't even get me started about Biden's like address thing.
Tell me about his address.
No,
tell us.
He's like, we need to fund the police after his whole campaign. We need to defund the police. I mean, there's so many quotes and video clips of him doing it. And now he's like, in his State of the Union address, he's like, we need to provide better training for the police. He like literally took like, it just bugs me because that's what the public wants to hear because they're sick of their stupid, chaotic policies and shiz. And the violence and everything that's been going in these like big cities and everything. So they realize they're like losing their grip. And so, of course, he's going to come out and say that. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
I think the Republicans we have are bullshit, too, because it's not like they're doing much. They jump in on these big, fat spending packages and load it up with a bunch of pork, and then I need to calm down.
The political realm is definitely an interesting spot at this time because it seems like the radicals on every side are just basically keeping the quotas and just ensuring that all of the different individuals that are supporting them are continuing to give them money. So
I think
there's not a lot of focus and benefit as far as the everyday American like us.
They don't represent the everyday American. That's the problem. They represent the big corporations and big pharma and all that bullshit. They don't care about the American population. Okay, and I'm going full conspiracy theory here.
Go, Rian. Tell us, Red.
You know what?
Tell us, Red.
This is all bullshit because they've been trying to like take the population down. You look up Bill Gates and all his. Mm-hmm. Why in the hell is he even involved in pharma? Isn't he like a software engineer? Like, why are we listening to him and making like world policy based off of Bill Gates? Like, this is what kills me. Money is power, and it bugs me so bad, but it's a freaking conspiracy. They don't represent us.
Right.
And they are trying to keep us separated by pushing racism and like homophobia and all this bull crap
and all this other stuff.
They keep us divided because we like clearly outnumber them. But the people in power, they like being in power. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
They're corrupt with power.
I agree.
Now my girl Tulsi, she gets it.
She's definitely a moderate Democrat who's got a good head on her shoulders and doesn't aspire to what the media is saying or any of the other politicians are saying. She's actually looking at the data and coming up with her own decisions, which is awesome. We need more people like that.
Well, and here's
on all sides.
What kills me is like, why did they get her out of the freaking race? She actually would have been a great candidate. And the fact that they like took her out so early is because she doesn't toe the party line. She toes the line of like, let's represent the people. Let's stop sending our young people off to war to die for freaking like egotistical. Anyway.
Tell him, Red. Tell him.
Oh, okay. I can't. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. It bugs me. Like, we're just playing the parts. We're just cogs in the freaking machine, and we're all freaking asleep, and they're counting on it. Because the more we're divided, the less we're going to actually wake up and do something. And people have started waking up and doing things other than what was planned. And then they started pushing back, like the trucker convoy and stuff, and they still try and push a stupid narrative that it's like, they're so violent, blah, blah, blah. When crime actually went down, when they, like up in Canada, when the truckers were there, crime actually was down.
Yeah.
Because they were keeping everything in check and like, oh, but it's tyranny. And they'll say that in one. Yeah. Right? So like Biden's like, you don't have a choice on your body. You have to take the vaccine, blah, 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 blah. But in the next breath, he's like complaining that that a bill to prevent teachers from pushing sexuality on children from 4 to 8, when it's not even freaking appropriate to be talking about sexual attraction and sexual acts with those children. He comes and says, oh, and the transgender, like, it's considered, Texas is passing a thing that says it's child abuse if you give your child puberty blockers and everything. And hormone because they're too young, like, even developmentally, children are too young to know. Right. Like, their true gender identity, right? Like, they still have so much to figure out. And so to give them puberty blockers and everything, they're passing a bill saying that that is abuse. And so Biden will say, well, that's government overreach. So, like, it's just like, it's the double speak and everything. And I'm like, how? He gives a new name to Two-Face for sure. He's like that Two-Face villain in from Batman. And what I don't understand, my microphone is like slowly. Is it? Do I need to come over there and fix it? Yeah. All right, hang tight, guys. But then I'm going to keep ranting because it drives me insane. But the double speak comes from both sides. It's not just Democrats. It is Republicans and everything. And I think it's just we've allowed the federal government to get too freaking big. I think that's okay. Okay. I don't know. Can you still hear me? Put your headphones on. Yeah, we should be good. Just try not to touch it too much. Well, I'm not touching it. We may need to get some more microphone stands, unfortunately. These aren't the nicest stands. But on the other hand, too, like, well, it's a hard thing. Like, it's a very I think it's a very complicated social issue. But at the same time, it's like we also need to protect children, because children just don't know better. So, like, this stuff about sexuality, critical race theory, apparently all white people are racist and nobody else is in the world. That's very strange teaching. These are things like thought processes and theories need to be taught in, like, or at least discussed in colleges, not in high school, not in K through 12, period. Well, did you say not in high school? Not in high school. Like K through 12, they shouldn't be teaching any of this stuff. They should just be teaching history. They should be teaching, like, how to be good human beings. They need to be exposed to, like, different religions, different, like... No. They shouldn't be exposed to different religions? No, not in school. Not in school. Like in high school. No, like, well, I mean, to know of the different religions that like top level that stuff. Exists, like top but level not stuff. Like, yeah, I'm like, because you cannot teach, like, the whole point. They wanted to remove God out of school, so for separation of church and state. But the problem is now there's a whole different. It's a secular religion that is being taught now, and that's scary. Well, and part of that is, from our experience, is that religions are very spiritually controlling and very like manipulative through spirituality.
And so I think a lot of people are seeing that, and I think it's I don't know, it's just a weird thing that's been going on, and I've been seeing it more and more as I've grown up. But that's definitely something to say for that. I mean, that's not, what's the word? It's not exclusive to like the LDS faith. It's like it's happening, all across America in different faiths. I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses and Baptists and Lutherans, like it's happening all over the place. Like
gutsy. You're naming off specific religions.
Yeah, like people are leaving like religious organizations like in droves. Like it's really difficult now for people to continually add people to their congregation, and a lot of it is because of all these different things that are happening, But yeah.
Like what different things? Like the whole overreach of authority?
Yeah, definitely overreach of authority, saying, oh, well, if you do this, you're going to get blessed, and if you don't, you won't.
And then being
judgmental if you choose not to, or if you're too busy because you have a job that you have to work at night at, or whatever the case may be. People will judge you because you're not volunteering and helping, and they believe that because this is God's work, that you're basically putting other things before God. So it's this whole manipulation of these kinds of things that are happening. And that's why a lot of people, I believe, are leaving different religions right now.
Yeah, well, I think people are sick of being manipulated.
Yeah, that's the big one.
But then there's also like the hypocrisy and things. That's the other thing that's really hard.
Oh, you mean like the dogma doesn't make logical sense?
No, but the hypocrisy of like people are like, you need to be spiritually and physically pure and blah, blah, blah. But then like leaders that are supposedly, ones
they're sleeping with other people's wives. They're touching kids. They're doing stupid shit like that.
They're supposedly your like spiritual gatekeepers.
Right.
And then they end up getting caught doing stupid stuff.
Yep, it happens more often than we'd like. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad.
So, Starbuck and Boomer are having fun.
Yeah, they're playing. I can hear them in the background. They can see it from my camera view. These are our little babies. For those of you who are just listening, they're playing in the background. So one of the quotes here, all of the links, guys, of all the different articles that we're citing information from will be in the description down below, just so you all know. We always try to keep those available to you so you can read and come up with your own decisions. Obviously, we are reading these articles. We are commenting on, because we're commentators within this realm of podcasting. So obviously, if we're wrong, you're going to let us know. And we will always correct ourselves if we find things that need to be corrected. So one of the quotes from these, there's this one here. It says, the U.S. exports petroleum too, and in 2020, for the first time since 1949, the U.S. exported more than it imported, 635,000 barrels per day more. So we're not even using our own oil, and we're not using our reserves. We're just exporting everything, apparently.
Well, yeah, but they don't want us to be energy independent, because if we're energy independent as a nation,
we don't need the government.
Exactly.
And if we don't need the government, then we're not easily manipulated and controlled.
Exactly.
And I think what's really interesting is I know that we get a lot of oil from like Russia and stuff like that, but we also get quite a bit of oil from like Mexico and Canada, in Iran and Iraq and all those different places. Like we get oil everywhere. There's not like just like one place where all the oil is at. But I find it very interesting that even in this time right now where literally since the end of the Trump administration going in through the Biden administration now, it's almost doubled.
What,
pretty dang
the
close
gas?
to double. Yeah.
No, it's 52% higher.
52% higher?
Yeah.
Is that
as of yesterday, it was 52% higher than it was the same time last year.
Wow. Okay, so I was incorrect on the doubling, so thank you for correcting me. But that's a huge jump, especially when when they've been talking with these different economists, they basically say that an acceptable increase year over year is about, I think it's like 2.7% or something like that year over year. And I think we're creeping up to about 8% inflation this year. And that's not only gas, but also food, goods, like services are going up. Like everything is going to be increasing.
Oh, yeah. So we've had record high inflation.
Yep.
I think it was when I last heard like a couple days ago, it's from February. Mm-hmm. As of February, it is up overall 7.2%.
7.2 right now?
Yeah, but milk is like up 32%. Mm-hmm. Like some of your basic staples of groceries and stuff are up so high. Because not only do we get... So here's the other thing. This whole thing with Russia and everything is a big deal because, one, they are one of the world's largest grain providers. Mm-hmm. They are also one of the world's largest fertilizer
providers. That's going to be a very big deal for farmers.
So even though we have grain and stuff here in the U.S., fertilizer is huge. And so if cost of fertilizer is going... and we are not able to trade and everything on that, that's going to affect our food supply. Mm-hmm. Number one thing that they do, and I say they, meaning the deep state, meaning, yes, I'm being all sorts of conspiracy theorists, and I don't even care right now.
This isn't conspiracy theory. This is all substantiated, like, information.
Well, yeah, this is like the pattern, they will control the food and minimize food to cause a sense of panic and fear. That we have been in a constant state of panic and fear for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And just when we start pushing back on COVID and everything, look what happens.
We have a new variant that comes out.
And then, like, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, is it all political theater? Like, I'm sure there are people that are seriously suffering in Ukraine and everything. I get it 100%. Like,
but political theater as far as like, I wonder if Biden has actually gotten like his quote unquote vaccination and his boosters.
I don't
like,
even know.
I mean,
dude, probably, and it's probably caused all this.
Studio, but
he can't even put together a coherent sentence. And then freaking Kamala Harris doesn't even. She just repeats herself.
Don't get me started on Kamala. Like she's
just seriously. I am like, she can't even put together a sentence. We're gonna keep doing what we've always been doing, and we're gonna continue to do that. And, like, I can't even remember what she was saying because it was so freaking nonsensical.
Right.
And I'm just sitting here thinking, the leaders of the U.S. can't even either put a coherent sentence together or express a coherent thought. Those are our two leaders.
Right.
And, like, they made fun of Trump and everything, but, like... I didn't see Mr. Russia man trying to invade anything when Trump was in office, even though that's what they were saying was going to happen.
And now it's finally coming out in like the news and media that that there wasn't any collusion with Russia with Trump.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Now it is. Like now it's coming out.
But here's the thing: stuff you won't hear on mainstream media. Okay, it was determined that Hillary Clinton and her campaign were spying on Donald Trump's campaign as well as the Oval Office once he was elected. Okay, that came out. It also was debunked that there was actually no Russia collusion, but that's what they were screaming his entire 4 years and trying to impeach him on.
Right.
Okay, but the whole time Trump was in office, Putin didn't try and make any moves.
Right.
He did when Obama was in office. Trump was in an office. There was no issues. Now Biden's in office? Like, I'm just saying, if people were just going to look at the puzzles pieces that are just laying out there, and it's not that far of a stretch for any of it to be put together.
Yeah, but you also have to dig a little bit, too. It's not just like you just look at MSNBC and Fox News and CNN and just kind of make heads or tails of it because, I mean, there's definitely a lot of division on either side as far as like the media is concerned.
But part of the problem is they're all pushing propaganda. It's bullshit. Did you know that the White House called 30 like top TikTok influencers to give them talking points, aka propaganda, to put out on their channels?
I wouldn't doubt it, and there's also some something to say for TikTok because it's apparently owned. A lot of it is owned by different individuals from China, and it's actually one of the most.
It was started in
applications.
China. It was started in China, babe.
Oh, okay. So it's actually one of the most intrusive applications as far as like data, like storing like metadata and stuff like that. Like it's apparently pretty bad, even though the app is super fun to be on. Like I'm on the app and I post stuff on it. But yeah, that's just kind of the world that we live in.
I just
right now.
watched TikTok for the thirst traps.
I'm
so kidding.
Cowboys like chopping lumber. And,
I actually watch it for all the cute farm stuff.
Oh, there are some cute.
I love watching me some farm animals with the goats that hop around and the horses that are rescued from the slaughterhouse.
I think what's his name? I think Steven. He was trying to get himself banned off of
Steven.
Yeah,
Listen,
Steven
Murray,
Crowder.
I'm a married man. You see this hand right here?
Why is this playing?
Why?
I apologize.
Because you clicked on it.
Let's see if Steven Crowder is even still on here. Steven Crowder.
He is. He's still on it.
Because he put a bunch of posts up hoping that he would eventually just basically get banned. Because he's been suspended and banned for like several times now on quite a few of his join Mug Club. I don't know if this is the real Steven Crowder. There's only
Mug Club is
a couple of hundred. I don't know if these are real. I think these might be I think this might be fan base stuff, because I think you would have a lot more followers than like 2,000 or 500. Like he gets views in the millions. So I bet he's gone.
I also like watching.
I'll have to research that, but
recipe TikToks. Oh, and on Book Talk, I learned a new series. For reading, like a new book series. No, Siri, I wasn't talking to you. Okay. It's
damn it, Siri. She's listening on our conversations. We should turn our phones off.
Okay, but I started a new book series, and it is nice. I mean, it's like not like. It's not like prize-winning writing or anything. It's like easy reading to consume. But
right.
Man, it's a good story. I like it, and it may be in the romance genre.
Oh, here it is. It's Louder W Crowder. Yeah, 108.9K followers. So yeah, he's still on. He has not been banned. That's surprising.
They probably won't ban him until he's like on 200K.
No, I don't think I bet his content is not being pushed out right now because it goes completely against all of the mainstream narratives on the Democratic side and the far left, radical left, like liberals, like
not true.
It's like what he talks about and his opinions are definitely against their.
Well, yeah, but his content's still getting pushed out. It shows up on my FYP sometimes.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important that we have information from all sides, like the left, the right, the middle, the radicals. I think we should be able to share all the information, all of our opinions, and then we come together, we hash them out, we find the best way to do things, and then we execute it. We just do it. I think it's really funny. It's like, we gotta play for the right team. If we're not on Team Blue, then we're against Team Red, and if we're not on Team Red, we're against Team Blue, and it's, I feel like I'm back in high school again. I'm just being completely honest. I feel like I'm back in grade school, and it's all about the popularity contest, and all the popular kids are the ones that get all the benefits, and it's just really interesting how reflective our early lives are right now. The way things seem to be working today. Ever since like 2000, sometime between 2005 and 2010, like everything's just been having this very strange change. And I think a lot of it not only has to be not only is it because of like the radicalizations of the right and the left and, liberals and stuff like that, but also because of the birth of technology and the way that we have quote unquote social media. I use that term loosely. It's not very social. It's also not very kind. But it's really interesting to see like all the things that have happened and changed since we've had all this stuff. What's really interesting is that Twitter used to be just a way to say, hey, here's where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. Like that was all Twitter was. Hey, hashtag, eating pizza at, Pizza Mike's in New York City.
Which if that was all it was meant to be,
that's all it was meant to be in the beginning. But it became a thing. Like people loved it. People liked talking about how they were taking a deuce and, in the Trump Tower or whatever the case may be.
Ew. You had to use that example?
Yes, I had to use that example.
Oh.
I think that's funny.
Okay.
It's hilarious. All right. Let's see if I have some other good quotes here. Of the 8.5 million barrels per day exported in 2020, Mexico and Canada reappeared as the largest partners again, each receiving about 1 million barrels per day from the U.S. China was the third largest recipient with 720,000 barrels a day. Japan and India round up the top 5, receiving about 500,000 barrels per day. This is from U.S. News.
You know what's funny is they're like, we're not going to take oil from Putin because he's destroying democracy. But yet when Trudeau was like arresting people for even like donating a meal to truckers, right? Or like basically threatening their livelihoods and basically making sure they're fired and all that crap. Yeah, that's democratic. Right. Oh, look, an opposing voice. Let's squash them. And yet
you're not on our team.
And we'll still do business with Canada.
Right.
Even though their government,
table, even though they're just like, oh.
No, it's not under the table. America's totally fine with it. It just depends on the dictator. Apparently.
Yeah. Isn't that sad? It's just like, we're willing to not have our morals as long as it's good for business. And that's kind of been the attitude. And I think, I think something happened in like the 2000s where that's like changed like very radically. I think up until like the 70s and 80s, like people could still like live on like one income and everything like that.
No. 80s was like really...
That's kind of when like the two 70s, incomes started to kind of come out.
Yeah, the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. And then Reagan came back and put in Reaganomics, and it actually helped regulate the whole... Because we had record high inflation in the 80s. Yeah. And so we've actually surpassed that now, I think, with the current
Go lay down.
Situation.
We're working, buddy. Go lay down. Or play. Do what you got to do. Yeah, because like... This is what's really interesting, going back, a little bit farther, like in the 40s and 50s, and I think up and through the 60s, where families of, households, like you only needed like one person working, and you're able to get everything all the necessities that you need, and then some. Like back in those days, like people could actually, not only save for, retirement, but like pay off their home, like pay off their cars, you know. They received pensions like after they retired from their you know, long-term jobs. Like that's like unheard of nowadays. And I'm sure there's still some companies that are still doing that.
Nope.
But there's not a lot, I'm sure. And so we're living in a world now, like fast forward to, you know, 2022.
And that's because we got into a corporatocracy where people like freaking Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk can rule the freaking world because they have a shiz ton of money.
Thank you for saying frickin'.
Sorry, I'm getting
that's one of our words we don't use. We want to try to keep it, you know, PG-ish. Because PG-13 you can still throw on a couple of F-bombs. That's changed now, so it's like PG-ish.
And I'm eating dinner of champions of goldfish.
Yum. We love goldfish. Crackers. Delicious. Parmesan. Now you're making me hungry. And now we live in a day now, like if you want like a 3-bedroom, you know, 2-bath home, you know, with 2 people living in it, you have to make a freaking ton of money to actually take care of that. And usually you have to have 2 incomes.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
I looked into
That's crazy.
Jacob, there was that house out in Enoch that has property and stuff that I wanted to buy and look at. You know, it's not like it's a huge piece of property or anything.
Yeah.
It's probably an acre.
Yeah, that's pretty small.
Right? Guess how much they want for it?
$300,000.
$529,000.
Freaking grief!
And it's an old house.
$500,000
over
a
$500,000
and a tiny plot of land. No, thank you.
It's not tiny. It's a large plot.
1 acre is not a lot.
Well,
like most homes are on like 1/4 acre lots.
Yeah, so a full acre is.
That's like you can put 4 medium-sized homes on it.
Maybe it's 2 acres then.
Because you got to think of our friends who have, 4 acres?
Yeah.
6 acres, something like that?
Yeah, so it's probably half of theirs. So it's probably 2 acres. But still, $529,000 for an old house. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Go lay down, buddy.
But, you know, if we sold our house.
We still couldn't afford the monthly. Like we got in like literally right in time. Like our house now, if we sold it right now, it's like we're double. Like that's the ridiculous thing. Like we're in another housing bubble. Like I really feel like this is going to be another 2008 here.
Yeah. Remember when you suggested maybe we should sell our house and go rent? Dude, do you know how much rent is? Yeah. People are charging $1,700 in our complex.
Sure.
$1,700.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a
That's
townhome.
Almost twice our mortgage. At least 1.5.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So no, we're not selling for a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it.
Not unless you make a shiz ton of money because you're so awesome and get all these followers, and we can retire. But
it's 1 follower at a time, baby. Just like any business, 3 to 5 years. We just got to keep consistent at it. But that's why we've expanded. We've expanded our podcast to the point where I'm now doing, by myself, I'm doing, what am I doing? I'm doing entertainment news. I do like 1 to 2 videos a day, Monday through Thursday. That's kind of my current, my loose schedule right now. I'm also doing 45-second reviews, which I put up on like TikTok and everything, which we need to watch some movies this weekend so I can put a couple out next week.
We can do a review on Upload. You got to do Upload. That was a good.
It's been so long ago though. I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
I just watched it. It's not that many episodes.
I need to finish Cobra Kai. Yeah. I'm on season 3 right now. So, but between that and like movies, we need to watch the Adam Project. We need to watch the Batman. There's a lot of big movies out right now, and the Adam Project and the Batman have gotten some great reviews and good reviewing from audiences. So, those are definitely ones we should watch for sure. But going back to like income.
Did you do
or not income? Let's move on after you finish your thought. We can talk about Joe Biden and his approval ratings.
No, I get too angry. Okay, did you do a review on Don't Look Up?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh, you got to do a review on that.
And it's
weird,
very satirical, and my brain just doesn't like satire. Like, that's why I have a hard time watching.
You really struggle with satire.
I just don't like. My brain's just like, what's happening right now?
But like,
I don't get it.
But like, The Office is satire, kind of.
No, it's more of a it's a
mockumentary.
It's kind of a mockumentary, but it's definitely like comedic. And it's done in a way where it's very dry. Like, I get dry humor I can get, but satire, like all the episodes from The Peacemaker on HBO, I can't get it. Like, Look Up, I was just like, what is happening right now? What is this shit? But the concept was very interesting. I actually really enjoyed the concept from Don't Look Up. And the ending was really hilarious too. All the rich people are getting killed by those creatures on another planet. Spoiler alert, sorry.
Yeah, seriously, Jacob.
Damn it, Jacob, you did it. You just spoiled it all. So do you want to talk about Biden's approval rating, or do you want to move on to something else? Because we've already talked about inflation.
I just think it's
normal's 2%. We're actually at an all-time high in 40 years, which is about 7.5, 7.8. I think you said was the most recent number, and it's just going up at this point.
And now that we have the Ukraine thing going on.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
now I don't know much about that.
Well,
so
I don't know that much about it either, and I'm not.
You know more than me.
No, nobody knows shit because the mainstream media is reporting crap. Nobody knows what's going on. It's crazy. So nobody knows anything because, if you say that America had biolabs in Ukraine, that's pushing a false narrative. But then there was testimony in Congress that, in fact, the U.S. did have biolabs, and they were working on very dangerous bioweapons, which is supposed to be a no-no because that is against the Geneva Convention and all this stuff. So anyway, but there's that. But then, people are like, Biden, what about the inflation? And he's like, well, it's going to go up and it's Putin's fault. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Man, the buck never stops on his desk, ever.
No,
none of his administration, none of any of the other Congress or senators. Nobody's being held accountable. It's pretty bad. And I know that's pretty normal with all sides of the political, realm. But man, has it been really bad with Biden? Really bad.
Well, they lied to hold Trump accountable for crap that didn't even happen. It's annoying.
Well, they wanted him out because they felt like they couldn't control him.
Exactly.
And makes sense. I mean, he wasn't doing it for the money. That's for sure.
Well, and this is what's crazy is they are so tone deaf that their response and freaking Stephen Colbert, I'll gladly pay $15 a gallon because I have a Tesla. Yeah, well, you also make millions of dollars in a year, sir, unlike the majority of the rest of America. We can go out and buy $60,000 cars if we can't afford the freaking gas. I mean, they're just so freaking tone deaf. But they're still going to push it because they want to get off of petroleum and they want to go to electric and battery. But guess who owns the land with the where lithium is mined? China.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway. Okay, I gotta shut up. I'm going on my conspiracy theory.
No, it's all good. I mean, I get that humanity is making some kind of an impact on our environment, on our climate. I don't think there's any argument out there that says that no, we're having zero effect because we're a lot like parasites. We're just breeding and expanding and growing. That's what we're doing. Now, although as of the last 10 or 15 or so years, we're actually quite a bit lower as far as like our population replenishment, of us having babies and stuff, we're still
it's freaking Bill Gates and Big Pharma. Sorry.
Quite possibly. But what I'm saying is that like we're the problem with the whole climate change thing is that when you input all the information in these different algorithms and these different equations, there's too many pieces of the puzzle that have too much play and have too much guesswork. And in addition to that, even if you could get it accurate, you're not going to see changes unless you go out like thousands of years, like tens of years, like decades. That's like going to be nothing as far as like how time progresses. Like tens of thousands of years, you could see the effects later on. However, there is something to be said. But they need to make things reasonably priced, number one, and number two, they need to start lumping stuff together. Like, for instance, like when you purchase a brand new home, why do they not automatically have solar panels and batteries installed in these homes, like from the get-go? Why aren't there like 6 to 8 trees that are going to mature and grow large? Another thing about sustainability. Well, that's true. But also with sustainability as far as like food sources and stuff like that, we need to grow more locally. So why aren't we putting more homes on larger plots so that we can have our own beef, our own pork, chicken, grow our own vegetables and stuff like that when they're in season, so that we can alleviate some of this stuff as far as like, all these trucks and stuff like that that's on, going across the country all the time. It's like these like little things and changes that could, optically show that we're pushing for protecting our environment and the future of humanity, and everybody's just arguing about if it's even happening or not. It's like, but if it is happening and we're supposed to start taking steps towards that, why are we doing it in a way where it's like we need to? Like for instance, some of the things that they're happening with vehicles and like recording emissions and stuff like that. It's like it doesn't really matter if you're running your car like 8-10 hours a day, is because that's what you use for your work vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's like 1 gram or 10 grams. It's still gonna produce. So it's like, okay, great, electric cars. Well, here's the problem with electric cars. You're charging it from your home. Your home gets your power from the grid, and that gets it from nuclear, wind, solar, and like coal or whatever they have for their different energy sources. And that's the other thing where we need to like diversify. Like we're in a very great place to have power as far as like solar and wind. And with Texas, they have quite a bit.
Solar wouldn't work here because we get too much debris blowing, and solar panels would bust.
I don't think so. I think the only problem would be in the winter time, like trying to figure out how to keep those panels warm so the ice and like stuff melts on it, so that when the sun does come out after a big snow, you can get power from it. But I think we need to diversify, and like every large city needs to have a little bit of everything. Like we need to have nuclear, we need to have backup for like coal and stuff like that. We need windmills, we need solar, we need to have a bit of everything. That way we don't have any issues with like weather or disasters or whatever the case may be. We always have a backup. That's the other thing too. It's not just like, oh, we just do one and that's it. It's like, no, we need a little bit of everything just to make sure that we're not back in the Stone Ages because we decided to make everything solar, and like something happens with the environment and then it's just like cloudy all the time and then we're screwed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if the volcano erupts in Yellowstone.
If the volcano erupts in Yellowstone,
we'd be so dead.
Well, definitely all of America will be gone. And those that do survive because they're on the outskirts, like in like Alaska and probably
Hawaii.
Maybe they get lucky and like Hawaii and stuff like that. Maybe
well, if they didn't die from the
far
tidal
west.
Wave.
Not the tidal wave,
no,
sweetheart.
Hawaii
but like,
would have a tidal wave from the earthquake.
Oh, I mean that's possible. I mean, I'm not a scientist as far as like tectonic plates and stuff like that, but just the aftermath as far as like the ash and stuff would be really bad. And then not only is that going to delete human life, it's also going to take out animal life, and we need animals to live healthily.
Sure, cockroaches would live.
and they're a great source of protein.
Nasty.
But if they're, like if we had like a nuclear issue, then they're radiated, and then it's, that's going to cause problems. So yeah, so if any like huge major disaster happens, like, yeah, we're going to struggle. Like just like all the different things that happened like in Chernobyl, or the things that happened off of the coast of, was it Japan?
Hiroshima.
Was it Hiroshima? The nuclear plant that went down?
Oh, I don't know.
And like it like literally killed like tons of fish and like radiated the fish and stuff, and like they couldn't eat it because and people die and stuff like that. So yeah, and obviously I'm sure like we've done very hard to make sure that a lot of things are in place, so these different like nuclear, processes and stuff like that, they're much safer than they were like 50 years ago. But we definitely need a little bit of everything so that we have a good balance. I think that's the biggest thing, is we need to have a balance. We can't have one, so far into wind and electric that we get pushed back in the Stone Ages because half of the time the power doesn't work. The power grid goes down all the time.
People also heat and freeze.
Exactly. But also
we're all we don't know how to live in the elements anymore.
No, we really don't. We've been spoiled for many, many generations with air conditioning and things like that. That's how we can live in deserts, because they get all their water pumped in, as well as we live in dwellings that have, air conditioning units. Because if people were trying to live back then where they didn't have all those kinds of things, people wouldn't live there. Like, there wouldn't be like Arizona. There wouldn't be Nevada and places like that, because it's just not hospitable. Exactly.
The only reason why Utah's hospitable is because of all of our technological advances and stuff. But it wasn't necessarily like the soil and
roads
stuff
are a big deal. Like when roads became a big thing, like that was a big deal for people like moving to different places, for sure. How you feeling, babe?
I'm tired.
You're tired? You feel like that's a good place to stop?
Yeah, I went on my little rant.
That's beautiful. Sweetheart, you do such a good job. Like, whatever. I love having these conversations with you. You're not going to get into trouble.
I'm too opinionated.
No, you're not. Stop.
And I'm like a conspiracy theorist and crap.
And that's okay. We live in America. We can have these different thoughts and feelings and opinions.
For right now. They might come after you like they've been doing in Canada and crap.
I have faith. I have faith that our system will prevail, and the people will keep the things from our Constitution intact.
Well, that's good, because it's hanging on by a thread right now.
It definitely feels like that, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's time for Jesus to come.
I was telling my mom, I was just like, if Jesus is going to come, this is a great time for him to be here.
Like, I'm ready.
Let's bring him. And on that note, thank you all for watching this podcast. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on everything. Leave us a like, a comment. Obviously, the biggest thing that you could do to support us is to share this video with family and friends. So, from our family to yours, good night.
Good night.
Hello everyone, JayReims with the Periodic Review. Today's video is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. Hopefully we've earned your subscription today, so don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that damn bell to turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. Check out the video links at the end of every video to view our previous content, as well as visit the description section for more links to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and from my family to yours, good night.